industrial giant Mitsubishi.
In 1977, Mitsubishi Electric Company purchased one of our products, and they did what is normal and routine, which is to study it carefully, reverse engineer it, begin to file patents, and the early patents look curiously like our product. We have been here selling our products. We have filed a small, but we think strong stable of patents in Japan. And then suddenly we look around, and everywhere there are patents which represent perhaps a problem. We don't know. They're usually very, very small. It would be as if you invented the automobile and then someone got a patent on a red one. And you said, well, I don't know if I want to make a red automobile, but it might be in my way. And then if they patented hubcaps with wires on them, wire wheels, say, well, I can't do that either. And pretty soon you start to feel like you've got a problem. Particularly if the company filing all those patents is a very, very big one, and the one trying to do business is a very, very small one.
Despite the fact that Spiro is convinced that the technology was his in the first place, he has made an offer to pay Mitsubishi to relinquish its patent applications, which are endangering his business in Japan. He has been trying to meet with them.
They say they're busy all week, and they just don't have any time to meet with you. And it looks like they won't be able to meet this week.
No other explanation?
No other explanation. Hasn't returned any of my calls this week.
Hey.
もしもし。いつ頃電話が一番いいんでしょうか。はい、わかりました。はい、すみません。失礼します。
I think the foreigner is in a very, very complicated position in Japan. You know, he's here to win the games for the Japanese, but at the same time, he's only allowed to do too much. Because under the Japanese way of doing things, of that sense of evenness, they don't like to see the foreigner do too well, because then that makes the Americans seem much stronger than the Japanese.
They want you to be great, but they don't want you to be good, you know? They want these incredible numbers, but yet they don't want you to stand out too far among the rest of the team. See, they let the Japanese player finish first, let the American finish second. You know, that would be great. But if the American comes over here and just blows away the rest of the field, you're just getting too far out of hand. You might see their players win week after week, but you hardly ever see a Gaijin over here have 2 or 3 good weeks in a row.
You will not win Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row. It will never happen. So what they'll do is we go back to the expanding strike zone, the famous expanding strike zone. What they feel is that, for instance, if a foreigner comes over and he's just hitting a lot of home runs, just a great deal of home runs, and the umpire, I wouldn't say the umpires, the league and people themselves would expect the umpire to expand the strike zone to balance things out. They feel that this foreigner has to be very strong, and if the pitchers would keep throwing the ball over the plate, then he's going to hit a home run every time up, and that's not fair. So what they do is they'll start calling pitches this far outside a strike, that far inside a strike. And their philosophy is they're being fair because they're balancing it out. Now, his guy is so big and strong, then he should be able to hit that pitch out there. In our eyesight, that's unfair. But over here, it's not unfair because you're a foreigner, he's a Japanese. That's just one thing you have to understand about the difference in the countries. Players feel very restricted. They say, what am I over here for? I'm not allowed to play this game the way I want to play it. You know, I'm not allowed to do as well as I know I can do.
Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. That's why I said it's not that much fun anymore to play. It's really frustrating. You're beat before you walk out there. That's why, you know, guys like Bob Horner come over here and they think Bob can hit 70, 80 home runs, you know, and he might be able to, you know, if they would do it the old-fashioned way, you know, like, let's just play baseball and see how many you can hit. But all of a sudden, pitches over your head are strikes. And pitches that land in the dirt are strikes. So you're gonna swing at anything. Naturally, you're gonna start coming down. It always seems like we're in that catch-22 spot, you know, where we're not sure exactly why we're here.
So nice to see you again. Kanpai.
Spiro knows exactly why he's there. He's there to meet new customers and build relationships with old ones. But most of his time nowadays is spent with his Japanese lawyer, discussing Mitsubishi's patents.
They view those 200 applications as their technology. And our view is that they really bought our lamp, reverse engineered it, started from there. Now, they've made some innovations of we believe, a minor nature. So our view is we're willing to pay them $100,000 for the privilege of using our own technology. And their view is Fusion is walking in here and saying, let us have your patents. So we do have a big gap to narrow. And not being Japanese, I'm not sure how to do that.
It may be a little difficult for us to impose some kind of pressure on the Mitsubishi because Mitsubishi might say that they have filed two patent applications which are identical in technology to Fusion just by coincidence.
By coincidence, shortly after they bought our lamp.
Yeah, that can happen, and they may claim, you know.
This is exactly what Mitsubishi did claim when they agreed to see us.
We never copied their technology. As I said, that by our own technology, by our own development, we had developed our products, our technology. There are two applications came out. One is that Mitsubishi's application, that is this point writing system. Then the other application is the Fusion's one, that is the line light systems, and this one. Then I think you can see the big difference between the two technologies.
What would you do if you were Fusion trying to do business in Japan? How would you deal with a company like Mitsubishi?
If I were Fusion, I would approach Mitsubishi Electric as they did, but would try to find out an amicable settlement, i.e. a patent license agreement, going both ways.
Cross-license.
Cross-license.
Cross-license is exchanging technology.
From their point of view, the typical business as usual in Japan is a company files lots and lots of patents, and the other company that they're opposing has some patents, and they cross-license. And they really can't understand our behavior. I mean, they don't accept it. Senior executives at Mitsubishi have said to me, Mr. Spiro, in Japan, this is how we do business. What's your problem?
That's right. Cross-licensing is a natural way of resolving the discussions, the discrepancies between the two companies. But in this case, Fusion is not a big company as compared with Mitsubishi. So Fusion cannot afford to grant a license to get into a cross-license with Mitsubishi. If that is the case, Fusion will surely lose market in Japan.
You're absolutely right. I think if we do that, then we will lose the business to them very quickly because they'll be able to make the same products we make. And so our only alternative is then to go ahead and fight every one of these 100 or 200 patents one at a time as they come up. You get to file the oppositions, and we'll work with you on the details, and we'll just go about it as best we can. And I think they recognize very well what you said, which is that we don't really have the resources to make that kind of a fight very attractive, maybe ultimately not winnable.
Why are they doing it? It's business. They want the business. They want all of it. If they don't get all of it, they don't consider it fair. And Fusion is winning in the marketplace, and they don't like it. They're tough competitors. And as they say in The Godfather, it's just business.
But at Mitsubishi, they don't feel like the Godfather. They feel they've been following Japanese law to the letter.
In Japanese patent system, it's quite different from the United States patent system. Then in the United States, it's the patent to be given to somebody is broad, very broad, just like umbrella patents, which can include many applications in one patent. But in Japan or West Germany or other EC country, as you know, we have quite a different system of patent. It's a very narrow application of the technology. So it's not a problem with Mitsubishi Electric, or it's not a problem with our attitude. It's a customs, it's a systems right now in Japanese patent systems.
Different systems, different customs. At the U.S. Embassy, they've heard it all before.
It's clear to us that Mitsubishi, in this case, believes they've done nothing wrong, and as far as we can see under the formal rules of Japanese patent law, has done nothing wrong. But the system allows or encourages this kind of behavior. It's a very fundamental thing in their minds, I think.
There's no zero-sum game in Japan.
Keith Bovetti and Kyle Murphy of the Trade Department.
When a foreigner's involved, then its basic rule is either everybody makes money or nobody makes money. What is it that you're looking from us? Are you looking for a sympathetic shoulder? If you're looking for that, you got it. But quite frankly, you can get that any place. What more can we do for you? What do you think would be a good approach?
Okay.
I think, you know, what we have here is basically a commercial dispute between two private companies. And the question arises, why should this be of interest to the government? Is it a public policy issue? Well, in a sense it is, I think, because what we have is a set of behavior which is perfectly legal, with perhaps some indiscretions at the edges, but basically legal within the Japanese system of law. Where I think it becomes a matter of public policy is where these two systems of law create a situation which is a systematic disadvantage to foreign companies trying to do business in Japan. This is not simply.
But even as he talks, Peter Miller knows Japan too well to believe that it is going to change the rules of the game to accommodate American business.
Japanese companies do. This is not a place that plays by American rules, and this is what American business people have to realize and come to terms with. We're not going to change the rules of the game in Japan. We have to play by the rules here, and they're very different.
Steve and Janine Hammond have been in Osaka, Japan for 8 months, since Steve was hired to play third base for the Nankai Hawks.
When you're in a strange place, no matter where you are in the United States, baseball-wise, you tend to cling together because you don't know anybody else. I miss not going to the game. I really enjoyed watching Steve play every night. It's fun because you get to go watch your husband work, and I really enjoyed that. So it's hard, you know, sitting around here some nights just waiting for him to come home. I've never met a